So, इसमें जनाबाई बोल रही हैं कि जो मेरे सर का घूंघट है वो कंधों पे आ गया है, पर मैं तो बाजार में चलूंगी और साथ में अपना वीणा वीणा बोलते हैं उसको, हाथ में वो वीणा लेके और ताड़ लेके मंजिरे लेके मैं जाऊंगी। अब मेरा मना कौन करेगा, आता मज मना कौन करी। पंढरपुर के बाजार में मैं अपना धंधा चलाऊंगी, तुम देख लेना। जनी कहती है मैं बन गई तुम्हारी वैश्या, अब निकल गई रे केशवा तुम्हारे घर। डोळेचा पदर आला खांद्यावरी, डोळेचा पदर आला खांद्यावरी, भरल्या बाजारी जाईन मी, भरल्या बाजारी जाईन मी, भरल्या बाजारी जाईन मी, डोळेचा पदर.
Shruthi Veena Vishwanath is part of a contemporary movement of musicians who treat devotional and folk music not just as performance but as living archives, especially bringing forward women's voices, marginal traditions, and the philosophical poetry of Bhakti and Sufi worlds. Shruti works to reframe these living archives. You see, in Indian devotional traditions, Bhakti, Sufi, folk, the archive is mostly oral. Over time, however, some voices become dominant while others fade, especially those of women, Dalits, and regionally rooted mystics. These are much less visible. Instead of building a concert around Kabir or Bulle Shah, Shruti would foreground these forgotten poets. She has traveled through different regions of India, learning from practitioners of oral traditions and integrating these songs into performances and teaching. Especially, she has researched and performed the works of women Warkari saints, such as Janabai. Shruti describes herself as a song catcher, a song gatherer.
Hello, guys. Welcome. Welcome to my podcast, Theatre of Chai. And as usual, as I always am, I am so excited, so excited to present to you Shruthi Veena Vishwanath. Shruthi Veena Vishwanath is, I actually am at a loss to how to introduce her because she has so many layers to her. And as the conversation goes on, you will get to those layers. But for now, she is a singer performer. She's a trained classical singer. And the life that she has chosen for herself, for her art, is something I'm so jealous about. She is a song gatherer, a song catcher, a song gatherer. She digs deep into the music, the poetry that has not been available. I'm sure I'm going to muck this up. So I'll let her talk. Shruti, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness. So would you tell, help a muddled old woman and just tell our viewers what is so special about your singing, your performance, your art?
Well, I think I try to look at threads of the oral tradition, but not in a. I think many people are looking at the oral traditions now in this country, all around the world. This is where we understand that we are at a place where oral traditions are shifting, for lack of a better word, in this day and age that we occupy. Lots of things are shifting. So I think I realized that I wanted to kind of inhabit some of these songscapes. And when I say oral traditions, for me, it is specifically the the what I broadly call the Bhakti, Sufi, Nirguni traditions of this country. Poetry of unity, poetry of resistance and rebellion that has come to us from over not only hundreds but thousands of years, and that communities have inhabited. And I think I found great solace. You introduced me as having classical training, but my primary introduction to my practice is I have unlearned all of that classical training. It's gone out of my head in a way. It lives in the body. It's
And
gone out of my head.
a little later, I would love to know uh, your experience of the unlearning. Why you think of it as unlearning,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, that would be so interesting to know.
Yeah, we'll come to that. I mean, basically, I found great joy. You spoke about joy. This whole podcast is called Theatre of Joy. So I found my joy in the Bhakti, Sufi, Nirguni traditions of the country, and that's what I do now.
And you were brave enough to switch.
I think I didn't give myself a choice, because I realized that the for lack of a better word, I guess the payoff of that was so much. I said, I can't lose this, because it's such a treasure trove. Some of this poetry, I think it shifted something deep within me. And
so now, we're coming to it.
Okay.
So now, first tell them what is giving you joy. What made you shift?
So I went to Bitspiladi. I studied engineering. I knew I wanted to do music, but I didn't know how, because it's not like I come from a lineage of musicians. It's not like I knew how the industry, so to speak, worked. I was just somebody who loved music. I was a kid who loved music, and then I went to college, and then I was learning Carnatic music at that time, and I wanted to become a Carnatic musician. But when I actually went to that world, I realized that there was too much muck around gender, caste, class, the politics of language. And it was, I didn't want to get into that world, because those, I didn't resonate with who I had to be in order to practice my art. And I didn't want to be anything other than who I was and who I could truly be. I didn't want to conform in XYZ way. I didn't want to grow out my hair or wear flowers in my hair or wear a particular kind of silk sari with a jari just because I wanted to sit on stage.
Like deja vu, had this conversation with some other people also who chose different.
Yes. Yeah. So I didn't want to do that. And I said, I'm not going to be anyone less than, I'm not going to diminish who I want to be and who I feel like being in order to fit into some box that art is going to give me. And that's when I heard Kabir not for the first time, because even in school we all heard Guru Gobindo khade to kiske lagu paye. And I grew up in a family that listened to Bhimsen ji and Kumar ji and all of these singers. So it's not like I had heard Kabir for the first time, but I think I heard Kabir for the first time because I listened to Prahlad Singh Tipania ji, who is now dear teacher, guide in many ways. And when I heard him, I said, I think I wept. That one concert, I wept. I said, I don't understand what's happening to me. Why am I weeping? Because it's not like I understood the words. And it's not like the music was refined in the way that I had been taught. It's not like there was some terribly complex musicality that was emerging that I was vibing to. I said, this is simple. But what about this strange, simple thing is moving me to tears? What is it? So I think that was the fundamental question that began my journey. And that's when I realized that I think it drew me into the world of the Bhakti poets, of the Sufi mystics, of the Nirguni, of the Vachanas, of the Abhang.
And then what did you have to unlearn?
I had to unlearn everything that I had been taught till that point. I grew up in a prim and proper convent school. I grew up with the idea that science education and an engineering degree was what one had to aspire to in life. I mean, I'm not saying that was messages from a particular person, but that was the overall messaging one had grown up with.
Yeah.
So, and
the cultural hold up of
absolutely
being a Carnatic classical
yes,
Carnatic music singer,
like being dressing in a certain way, holding oneself up in a certain way. I think it. I like to say I unlearned all of this. I think just in that moment, a lot of things dropped, and then there are things that I've actively been unlearning since then. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey that I feel very grateful for, and I think I continue to unlearn and question my own self, because that is where the first level of questioning comes, and then all of the baggage that society keeps confronting us with.
And of course, that you're lucky. You know that you had this moment. A lot of people cannot make. It's actually a flip.
Yeah, 100%.
And a lot of us are living without making any flips in our life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And whatever it takes, whatever it took actually gave you a lot also.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, wow. I feel tremendously lucky. And I wouldn't trade now anything for the world. Neither the baggage that I thought I accumulated, nor everything that I had to shed, because that is the process of what makes me who I am now. So now I've learned to be kind to myself and kind of embrace everything. the bits that didn't at that time feel quite good as well now. Like, okay, maybe it happened for a reason.
And what really excites me is your project to create archives, curate, different kind of a dominance. I don't know, bringing people voices that are not part of an increasingly
polarized landscape,
right? And not only polarized, it's actually those voices they're fading away.
Yeah,
they are sort of becoming non-existent, and many people who actually also take the narrative forward don't even know, or they are given the same diet every day, and it's difficult to, and you have presented to the world a different diet, different options. So please talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for asking that. I think it's important because even today, it's a world where, like, for example, now Kabir is a hugely popular name. So what happens is that inevitably there is a whole host of these Kabir festivals popping up. And I keep saying that Kabir himself would have laughed at his popularity, and he would have said, "Kya kar rahe ho? Suno bhai Sadhu, look around you, like get over your obsession with me, and look around you." So I think for me also that lesson happened. I started singing Kabir, I started singing known poets, and then at some point it was at a festival in Odisha, and I am not somebody who I'm not very good at, in general, archiving. Okay, if you ask me what my calendar is, it's here somewhere in my brain. I don't have it. It's not on my Google Calendar. I have a physical calendar which I don't update. So I'm a very for a bits person, I'm extremely tech unsavvy. I'm extremely disorganized.
You have your right brain.
Yeah. I have my right brain like way dominating the left. And so somehow I had gone for this festival, which was some women's Sufi music festival or something. This was about 10 years ago when I was kind of, I had just about started on the journey. It had been a couple of years. And I came back and somehow I had written my set list for that concert. I don't know why. And somehow I opened it, which is a combination of events that never ever happens. But I opened it and I said, okay, Kabir, Pundarasa, Jnanoba, Tukaram, Gorakh. I said, Acha, in a women's special Sufi music festival. It was enough for the organizers, and it was enough for me, it was enough for everyone involved, that I hadn't sung the works of a single woman. And something hit in that moment. I said, here you call yourself a feminist, left, liberal, all of these isms that we, or these labels that we put onto ourselves. No? I said, where is your feminism coming here? Like, how are you coming up in this set list? Like, that could have been anyone singing greatest hits of the Sufi poets. And that's when I said, oh my goodness, like something, I need to shift something for it to, for me to embody my practice truly, because this is not my practice. This is copying somebody else's set list, and it's a performance of convenience. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's sweet. And around the same time, I got introduced to the works of this researcher, Dr. Jackie Dawkes, who she's not in scholarship anymore, but she, in around the early 2000s, she had done this thesis on the women Varkari poets. So the Varkari Sampradaya is, I'm from Pune, I grew up there, and the Varkari Sampradaya is the Bhakti, the main predominant Bhakti movement of Maharashtra, where I grew up, and something that I engaged with in my childhood. So over here to listeners in Punjab, Namdev would be a very familiar name. So Namdev's origins are in the Varkari Sampradaya, and then he came to Punjab, and so that is the crossover. Yeah. So sorry, I lost the thread of where I was.
The researcher Jackie.
Yes, Jackie Dawkes, thank you. So she had done an entire thesis on the women of the Varkari Sampradaya and why their voices have been sort of systemically over the course of history kind of been erased from the oral traditions. And with that, she had about 400 abhangs, they're called abhangs, of the women translated. These include, so I can also say it later, but I want to say the names now because I took Namdev's name. There is Namdev's mama, Gonabai. There's Namdev's sister, Aubai. There is the maid who works in Namdev's house, who is my favorite poet in the whole world. Her name is Zanabai. So these are some of the voices that were translated, and that blew me away. Because there is, and we know now a little bit of, and now I think there are a few more people, and I'm glad about that, who are taking up women mystics' voices and bringing them to the forefront. But there is a sense of directness. It's almost like, for me, it was like the women had no words to waste. They weren't, they had nothing to cloak it in, like they didn't have they didn't have extra time and extra language to cloak all this. It was direct. It was as though somebody was just speaking to me and saying, see. And the radicalness, we keep talking, we keep saying intersectional feminism. These poems were living, breathing examples of, so I said, oh my God, who is singing this? And the answer was essentially nobody. So I said, and as I read those poems, it's one of those times, I mean, I'd like to think that there is magic. Now I realize when the time is right, it's as though the poems are singing to me. So I started singing the poems. And now whatever, I've composed about 40, 50 odd abhangs of the women and of lesser known, like Dalit poets are the first again to get erased from narratives, and it's something
still there are some people who are bringing that out. Dalits are in a sad place.
Yeah, and like the Bahujan poets in within the tradition of some of the first names to go. So I said, okay, this is something I need to do, and that's where I started. And this was about 10 years ago now when I began that, and that began deepening.
And Zenabai was like 13th century.
Zanabai is 13th century.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
Same time as Bhakti.
Boggles the mind.
Boggles the mind. She's like there are poems where like, the one of the most famous ones, which was extensively translated but till then not sung very much, is it says डोईचा पदर आला खांद्यावरी भरल्या बाजारी जाईन मी. The veil has dropped to my shoulders,
This one,
but I don't give a damn. I'll go to the bazaar. In the marketplace of Pandharpur, I will set up my trade. Who
and
dares
this
to
is
stop
so
me?
relatable even now.
It's relatable even now.
So many centuries.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I said, oh my God. And then the last line of that poem, she says, I have become your whore and I set out now for your home.
Yeah.
I said, like, I was perplexed because one never reads this expression. No? When they teach you about the Bhakti movement in school, nobody is going to tell you this poem.
At the most, Mirabai.
Yeah, at the most Mirabai. And even the more radical poems of Mirabai are, of course, erased. You'll be taught the sort of conformist thingies and told to respect the Guru or respect the Lord. But nobody tells you that the Lord is within. Nobody tells you that you can respect the Lord despite the gungat falling off on your shoulders. And she said, I don't give a damn. I will go with the tal in one hand and the veena in the other. Nobody tells you that. So I think somewhere it spoke to me. I mean, spoke is a very small word. I think I was dancing with joy because I said, I have finally found some poetry, finally found words that feel like they're speaking to me. And it was confronting who I was at that time and who I was trying to become. Like it was almost like Zani was saying, come on, do the work. Come on, do the work. Like don't get stuck here. Don't get stuck here. So that was me going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole and discovering stuff. And then with that lot of liberation came.
You know, yesterday we were talking, Param and I were talking about the patriarchal toolkit.
Yes.
That keeps patriarchy in place.
Yes.
So when you said Mirabai's more radical poems are, pushed under the carpet or the sheet or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. And what you're doing, like, it's been called reframing the archives.
Yeah.
Right? What you're doing is hitting at whatever is dominating the oral tradition right now, and whatever is fading away, you're bringing it out.
Yeah.
That's like a huge counter to the patriarchal toolkit.
Yeah, and what for me is interesting is, like, for example, I went to the birthplace of Zanabai about 3 years ago. I didn't know anyone there, but I felt like I had to go. And so there was just one day when I took the train from Pune, went overnight. It's a little town called Gangakhed, and all I had seen was a Google Map thing that there was a little mandir in her name, and she lived in her birthplace. I didn't know anything else to expect. I didn't know a soul there. Me and my little sister, we went, and over there I found the trustee of that little temple that's made. And very sweet people. They built it with a lot of heart. And that evening, they said, okay, please come and, we'll do a little satsang. And I said, of course, like that was my dream. That was the hope, right? And I sat, and initially I sang a few of the more sort of safer abhangs, so to say. And then at some point, I said, chal yaar, like, come on, like you're sitting in Zani's temple. So I sang all her radical ones. The amazing part is that not one person batted an eyelid over there. Because this idea that rebellion and this expression of the fierce, unfiltered feminine that comes everyone actually knows. It's just that and those who have inhabited the Bhakti tradition, somebody in some other circles, I've been questioned also. But those who actually know Zanabai, those who come from her hometown, they knew. Not so. It's. I was terrified when I started. I said, "Oh, what? Log kya kahenge? Log kya kahenge?" No, they were celebrating with me. They said, "Oh, how lovely! We don't sing this. What is this tune? They recorded it. It's gone back into the oral traditions," which was my hope, because I think when these poems are sung, they take on different life and different meanings.
Yeah.
And as a sort of privileged body, I can inhabit it. But for me, the real magic is when the community takes it back and says it's fine. So that tune of Doi Sa Padar has been circulating.
I feel also deprived as an urban, kind person who's all there. But I feel deprived because these voices don't even come to me.
Yeah.
And in fact, my world is more encrusted than the world of, or as encrusted as the world of those women you met in that mandir. Because, only a little stuff filters in, which the powers that be, whoever, sort of allow it to be filtered in. And which my brain, which has been mesmerized by the patriarchal toolkit, also allows to come in. Otherwise, I'll see something and how can you imagine kind of a thing and looking at it from, a distance. I remember I read somewhere when I was very young and very feminist. I read, growing into my feminism, I read somewhere about Tamilian women poets, and there was no way to know what they had written. I just read somewhere somebody has said they were some amazing. But, and now the world has opened up. There are people like you, there are others, right? Very few others. But I'm sure, as it grows, the archives will kind of expand out. And I'm excited about that.
No, it's very, since you mentioned the Tamil poets, I mean, my background, my initial background was Carnatic music. And one of the poets who is revered across Tamil Nadu is Andal, an 8th century mystic. Now, Andal has two sort of big works. One is the Tirupavai. The Tirupavai is known. It's called the month of Madhgari, which is from mid-December to mid-Jan. And everyone is singing works of the Tirupavai. There's one day, one verse is sung, second day, day 2, day 3, day 30. Yeah, but there's another work of Andal's, which is called the Natya Tirumuri, which has some of the most erotic, unfiltered expression to the divine. Like, there is, I mean, she desperately wants to make love to that, and she becomes the Naika. And that's the work that everyone will stay away from and tell their daughters to stay away from, because it's not, there's nothing unfortunately for all our modern thinking and everything, we have been disconnected from our bodies, we've been disconnected from this world. And so nobody sings the Natya Tirumuri. So right now there's exactly one song from the Natya Tirumuri that I sing. But I sing it, and I'm hoping to expand it.
Can you sing it for us now? If you're comfortable with that.
Yeah. Shangama kadal kadainda tan mugirkal venkadethu Shenganma vadikku Shevadikku adi vilchi vinnappam. I need to look at the words. So, but it's a little excerpt. Yeah. So she says, "Oh clouds from the conch-filled ocean that he churned, tell him, take him this message. Tell him that if he doesn't if he doesn't make love to me, if he doesn't enter me this once, I cannot be at peace at all. So just tell him to come, and his the kungumam the kumkumam on my body will smear onto his, and he will enter me, and so it's very erotic. That the whole of the
But
nacha
it makes
ceremony
sense in the sense that become one with me.
absolutely, and you can frame it whatever, frame it in a human perspective, frame it in a divine perspective, but celebrate these works. It's the same poet that then you rever and make temples of, but when there is something about the body, about lovemaking being spoken, then you're totally mum about
But
it, and you're
this has a
erasing. That's the patriarchal tool.
This has a very weird politics. You know, if you see the way sex is seen in today's world,
Yes.
it's totally disconnected with any oneness, with any kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
And this poem really
Yeah.
brings it, like, kind of centers
Yeah.
it. This is, it is,
Yes.
you know, and now it's so distorted and so many, and that poetry is suppressed, and that poetry can help.
That poetry can help. I mean, if I had learned, imagine if every the person going through teenagehood and adolescence is equipped with this and that.
Yes.
Imagine how empowering that would be.
Yeah.
Imagine how empowering
And that
would be.
bhakti thing, that listening to the bhakti poets, bhakti movement poets, from a distance and putting in, that doesn't help.
But bhakti was never meant to be looked at from a distance. It was never meant to be this. The whole of the bhakti movement was a reclamation that you are the divine. It was a very Advaitic philosophy of, hey, you're not separate. None of this is separate, and none of this like that. There is Zanabai, who is Namdev's housemaid, has so many poems where. I mean, one where she says, "Eke रात्रीचे समय देवा आले लवलाही सुख शेजे पहुडले जनी सभी गुज गुज बोले." So she says, one night God comes unexpectedly, and together we recline on the bed of happiness, and he falls asleep. And she says, "Wake up, wake up! It's dawn now. You better go get going," says Zani. So this is like, imagine if we learn bhakti as as this, or there's a beautiful, again, since Namdev is so alive in this part of the world, I want to bring a poem of Namdev's mother, where she's just telling him, Namdev, what, you've become completely useless, yeah. You've abandoned all your tailoring work. At that time, he was a tailor. You've abandoned all your tailoring work. You don't glance back at the house. Over here, there are 19 people sitting hungry. What is your Vitthal going to feed these people? Your Vitthal is the same person who goes to Gokul and steals makhan from the gopis. वो क्या आएगा यहाँ पे? And वो क्या खिलाएगा? She says, you have no shame. तू निळा जेरा पाही तुझं लाज नाही, वेळोवेळा पाही सांगो तुझं सांडू द घर. You've abandoned all responsibility. Namdev, come on, wake up. Your Vitthal has done this to us, and you'd better get your act together. That's the poem. And can you imagine Bhagat Namdev, one of the most revered saints from Maharashtra, Punjab, all over India. This is his mother saying this to him. And it's documented. It's documented in the same book where his poems are documented, because that was the idea of bhakti. It's not, and for me, it was so empowering that she was speaking about that, the very realness, that the reality that most women in this country have to face, and nobody, when we look at Namdev's bhakti, nobody ever thinks of, who was at his home when he was doing Vitthal, who was doing it, and much
later. They seem so disembodied and
Yeah,
disconnected from the earth.
yeah, disconnected from the earth. They've come from somewhere. In Kabir Panthi's, Kabir is supposed to have taken a virgin birth on a
And
lotus
that
leaf.
itself is
Yeah.
politics.
That itself
Because
is a politics.
people will, I mean, the patriarchal toolkit will let you, have a little bit
Yes.
of it, but in a way that you will always be distant.
Yeah.
And I cannot be that. That was the great,
Yeah.
But all of us have a Kabir in us.
Yeah, and
Janabai.
and in the it's still being there are, I think we are at that last generation of truly orally trained practitioners where there is still some real gems in this country. So I've been, that's the other thing I do. I'm trying to go, because it's not just about me, and if it just becomes about me, and if I said when I started Vithu Maza, which was this work on the women Varkari saints, I said, in 5 years, if I am still the only person singing these songs, I said, then it'll have been a failure. It's not supposed to be about the one person. If it doesn't go back to the community, if that doesn't spark something larger, if your practice, especially as a Bhakti Sufi music practitioner, if my practice doesn't try and embrace the community around me, the community that I often draw this music from, if they are not uplifted along with me, then what is the point? So I've been really trying
but
to
you know
do that.
what you are doing is also so important. I mean, you are like curating the oral traditions so that what you choose to sing is also part of becomes an important part of the oral tradition. And then you sing it, and then you bring it to places. Even if there are only a few people, like I would go to a Sufi concert and I would, be in touch with whatever is there in that tradition. And even if there are people like me in a country of 1.4 kind of billion people, there are a lot of us. Even, our hunger is satiated a little bit. And we have some access to go on to the generations maybe, before AI comes. But still, there are people who are seekers, and they will always be that.
And I think
they will always find what
I think now the good thing about the internet and AI, and the flip side we can only go on, but I think is that we can, if one truly knows what one is looking for, I think you can find it.
And I've seen you singing together with people on a Zoom call. And inspiring them to follow. Especially, I love the thing about I love that lullaby you sang, and what happened in that at that time, and a lot of people related to that poet and that song, and who are from different culture.
Correct.
So a lot can happen.
A lot can happen
just by being you in this world.
Immense possibilities. Yes.
I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you for opening this up.
Thank you for being, is what I'm saying. And I'm sure you inspire a lot of young people and a lot of people to, follow and do what you do. And you know what? It makes a lot of sense otherwise also. That in a market where one voice sounds like another. Because they're singing the same song to the same tune,
and that's what the market economy, the capitalist market economy drives us to. No, we're all supposed to.
But you are presenting an alternative. Which is amazing, which a lot of people should follow. Because a person who wants to sing.
Yes.
And wants 100%. Other people to hear her singing or his singing. And they'll find different ways to be seen. Hey, thank you, Shruthi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful, and I'm so wonderful. I feel so lucky to have met you today and to have talked to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me over. And this is, hopefully more people will go out and listen to. I mean, the thing I would like to say is go listen to voices that aren't heard. When in a room where we're hearing, two or three voices, then my question to myself, and that's what I do as a practice, is whose voice am I then not hearing, and whose voice is not being heard?
Yeah.
And therefore, then who can I be that everyone feels like they're getting heard? And this can work in an oral tradition setting to curate different things, or it can work in everyday life.
And another important thing is that we are all being ghettoized.
Yes.
In a way. Not many of us get a chance to go down or up or sideways into a community.
Yeah.
And we hear this beautiful poetry.
Yes.
Which is totally taken away from where it grew.
Absolutely.
Where it bloomed, right? In the beginning. And then you go back to those communities, and which is amazing. What a wonderful chance to have. And you chose well. Hopping from one concert to the other as a great Carnatic music singer.
Or a great anything singer. I don't want to be known as a great singer. I'd much rather be known as a, what did you say? You said, I used to use the word song catcher. I love that you said song gatherer. I think I'm going to use that from now on. Thank you for that.
Song gatherer.
Yeah. Song gatherer. I was told, I think yesterday, that apparently gathering used to, in hunter-gatherer societies, gathering used to bring 80% of the food. Yeah. But of course, we glorify the hunters. So that is it.
And now, the gatherers who choose to be song gatherers are going to give us 80% sustenance.
80%. I love that.
Done with all the old songs that they keep regurgitating and in the name of Sufi music.
Yeah. Yes, correct.
Those are wonderful, beautiful, but
also to embody, and to embody and
to embody actually to connect yourself, what you listen to with the singer, and not with ye music festival tha, I won't name them, and that's what is important.
Correct.
It's turning the whole thing upside down. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I love you for that. God bless you. God bless you. Hey, if you like this content, please like and share it with someone who would also like it. And do subscribe. It will really help us.